Hey Internet, it's Rev, and I've just got to say, IndieCade. IndieCade? IndieCade. IndieCade, IndieCade, IndieCade. Man, that's some deja vu. Wait, I know it's different. It's IndieCade East! Grab your bandanas and a couple of bricks. It's episode 39 of Indie Game Riot, the IndieCade East recap.
Indie Game Riot! Hey everybody, this is JaShinYa, and yes, this is episode 39, the IndieCade East 2015 recap episode. And it seems so long ago, yet so like it was only yesterday at the same time that we did the IndieCade West episode. By the way, I forgot to tell you, Rev, you have a much nicer, I don't know if you guys can see, back here as I stretch. Back here, you had a much nicer like badge.
I don't know, let's shoot you guys.
Yeah, look at it, it's fat and shit. I wanted, but anyway, that's my badge there.
Cool.
It was a much, I don't know how IndieCade West for you was, but it was a much different feel. I'm just going to go into mine since I'm going to be pretty much running this episode since I was the only one there. And first of all, let me just say, fuck New York. I'm sorry if you're from New York.
For that, I've been to New York once, and I did the subway thing. I did the walking around thing. I did the let's get lost in Chinatown. Maybe we shouldn't have gotten lost in Chinatown. I don't like the city. I don't. Sorry, people from New York.
The city actually okay. The city itself, it wasn't that bad. It was just they act like you don't get a million tourists every week. You know what I mean? Like everyone knows what they're fucking doing there. There's no like signage for anything. It's just like, here you go. Here's like an obscure map that's completely out of proportion. Good luck on the subway. And by the way, that subway, I've ridden roller coasters less scary. I didn't even tell you about that. Other than the bums and the crowdedness, but that subway, like, if you're not holding on, that launches you backwards. And then where I got on, it started above ground, and like when it's on the above ground track, there's like it's literally like nothing on the sides. It's just on this thing, and the whole time it's going from side to side, and you're just like, Jesus Christ. It was pretty terrifying at first, and then you get used to it. The city itself wasn't too bad. The people, other than the employees of the subway station, were generally pretty nice. Surprisingly, I've never heard people beep at each other more often than what I have there.
It's funny because it's illegal.
Beeping?
Yeah. Honking at people?
Well, everyone does it, apparently.
Like I'm sitting here, I'm imagining a bunch of like New Yorkers wandering around going like beep, beep at each other as they're walking by on the street. I'm like,
that's exactly what happens in New York. Everyone's just meep, meep at each other. But driving there, because I had to drive into the city, it was in Queens, so I had to drive through Manhattan to get to Queens, like through the Broadway district, and or theater district, my bad. And that was ridiculous. Like you get, like, of course the hotel that I was at was like on this really like weird, obscure street that was only one. There were like 5 streets connected to the street it was on, but only one way in. Everything else was one way the other way. And I've never gotten more upset inside of a car than I did that. I was like freaking out. I was scaring my family. It was like one of those. It was like one of those like 80s like Steve Martin, John Candy looking kind of movies. I'm just like he's screaming at the top of my lungs. But we made it, and it was a good time. The hotel, by the way, is supposed to be kid friendly. I brought my kids along so we could kind of tour the first day. Brought my kids. It's supposed to be kid friendly. First thing we do, we're on the 11th story of the hotel. nice view of Manhattan because there's like a bay window on the one side, and the windows from the ceiling down to like your knees or maybe your mid-thigh or something like that. It's like one big window, and then it like has a separator, and there's like smaller windows underneath. Perfect size, like eye level for my daughters too. And apparently those windows open up on the 11th story, and there's literally nothing in between. You open a window,
and you're good.
Yeah, and it's just a nice little squeeze through for her, and she's 11 stories down. So that's fun. Holiday Inn. So don't go there if you have kids, because they don't care, apparently. But yeah, good times all around. What did you guys do while I was stressing out in New York?
Well, last week you had horrible, shitty internet.
Oh, yeah.
So that was different. We're glad we got that mostly resolved. I cannot wait to see that episode. That was awesome. Yeah. That was definitely an awesome episode. Not because you weren't there in your entirety, but because like there was just something about it going on. Wow. 30 people.
Distracted.
Yeah, total distraction.
We're recording. You're like, wait a minute.
Wait a second.
Yeah, we got a lot of guys watching in our live stream this week. So thanks.
The numbers aren't the people actually watching. Hey guys, how's it going?
Yeah, Ari and Tricky Wolf Gaming, and what's the other group called? Nico Core.
Silver Blue.
Silver Blue with Nico Core. Yeah. So
Nico
thanks for
Core,
watching the live stream. If you're watching the recorded versions, you should join us for live stream. But anyway, back to you, Rev.
Okay. Other than that, like I've been working a bit. I dabbled in a little bit of AAA trash again. I'm playing Sniper Elite V3.
I heard the game's good.
It's not super horrible.
In the AAA trash.
Exactly.
That makes it sound so elitist.
Yeah.
It kind of does, but, I'm still having fun. No, because of how much work I've been doing and all of that, I haven't really had time to do any legit gaming. Although I did put in a little bit of time into one of the games. Like, I'm finally getting through Papers, Please. And
man, I love that game.
That game is addictingly depressing. That's all I can really say about it.
Your son died. You couldn't get him medicine enough. Is it bad?
I don't know. I haven't. Not too much of that game. As far as the decisions I've made, have been that depressing. Like, I mean, there's been consequences for some of my decisions, but nothing that's been really like, oh man, I wish I hadn't done that. I don't know.
See, and I
maybe you're just a dick.
A couple of those. No, like I'm trying to follow the rules, but like I also try and play as though I'm an empathetic human being, and
pretending.
Yeah, I'm role playing, okay? And so when this lady comes through and she's like, "Hey, I've got my stuff here to get into your stupid country, and my mother doesn't have her stuff, and she's a few behind, but she needs to get through because otherwise, so and so who's a few behind her is going to, is going to kill us because we're supposed to work for him once they comes through." Like, I can't refuse her entry, but I have to refuse her mom, and then I can't not refuse the guy that's going to kill them. And I've actually legitimately felt bad because, this old lady and her daughter get killed because I followed the rules.
But did they
It was kind of interesting. Yeah, they got killed.
I feel like they just got taken away. You don't really know if they die.
It was in the news that the two ladies were killed outside of blah blah blah. Anyways, yeah.
Oh yeah. I don't always read the newspapers. I probably should.
Yeah. Why would you not?
I don't. Because I'm like excited to play the game. I don't know.
To click on buttons.
Yeah.
I like to see the consequences of my actions. So, what about you, Josh or Tech?
So, I haven't really had a very I haven't done a whole lot. Most of it's hanging around the house, be sick. My stomach has not been very happy. I got a lot of cool stuff because my birthday happened. My girlfriend bought me a green screen stand that is... I have a very large green screen, but it wasn't quite put into perspective until I put it on the stand, and you really get the idea of 10 feet by 20 feet.
Where did you put that in your house? I feel like you do not have room.
It's 10 feet across and then 20 feet long, and so it's like 9 feet up. And then
did you like wrap it around your stairs?
Yeah, it's in the basement, and it's just sitting there now. Hopefully, I'll be able to film some stuff with that soon, which I'm really looking forward to. And then today, I got a new pair of headphones. These are AKG. I just want to get these right. They're AKG K240 Mark IIs. They're a semi-open headphone, entry-level audiophile style sort of deals. And I'm really liking them so far. And then today I also picked up I replaced my Logitech G110, which isn't broken, and I really do like it. It just wasn't doing everything for me. It was a little mushy.
You wanna brag about your graphics card too, your sound card?
Yeah. That's next. And then I picked up a Shine 3 mechanical right now, and it is so small, so much smaller than Logitech that I'm having to the Logitech was so big, it took me like a week to figure it out, and now that I'm moving back down to a smaller form keyboard, I'm like, where
Are you fat fingering everything?
Yeah, I'm fat fingering everything. I'm double tapping. I'm like hitting D and F at the same time. I'm looking. You know what? When I bought this, I'm just like, I'm not going to buy key sets for it. I'm not going to buy replacement keys for it. And as soon as I got it and I started changing keys around and stuff, and I'm just like, I have to get more keys. Just going to get it. I'm going to use it. It's going to be fine. And I'm just like, I want blank arrow keys and an escape bar that says, oh shit. And my insert key say power or something, like dumb stuff. But
I think I did interviews at IndieCade, obviously, and I bought all that equipment, and I was like, well, fuck that, because that shit's expensive. I'm not going to use it again. So I returned it. So I'm hopefully going to use that money towards a better setup here.
Yeah.
Talking about new equipment, I'm going to get like a boom arm and a better interface, all that stuff.
Also, just in quick news before we actually go into the next segment.
Yeah.
Our guys, our friends at Imigo Softworks, who are putting out Star Mazer, have reached their goal. They still have about 12 hours. As of the live recording of this show, they have about 12 hours to go.
Excuse me.
They currently have about 180,000. They were asking for 160. I'm really stoked for that game to come out.
Oh, yeah.
Another Kickstarter that I backed. That we also have an interview up on our website for. Vidar is like $2,000 away, and they only have like 5 more days.
Oh yeah,
so.
Go support Vidar. It's a good game.
Yeah.
Actually, I'm a little excited because it's a little overwhelming, especially with trying to get all this stuff recapped and all that stuff. But I feel like after the holidays, because everything leading up to the holidays is like big game, and then ouch, son of a bitch! I just hit my elbow. Big game, and then there's like a lull for like a month, 2 months, and now things are starting to pick up again. So I'm excited to see what's coming out. But you know what else I'm excited for?
What's that?
To give myself an indie news injection.
Are you bored with the same old games?
Yeah.
Why, then give yourself an indie news injection.
Thanks, Indie Games.
And this week on Indie News Injection, I totally caught you guys off guard. Suck it. Indie News Injection. It's all IndieCade East all the time. IndieCade East. I'm just going to go over some of the games. Shout outs to like some of the people I interviewed, but we're not going to like fully feature in the show. There were a lot of really good games there. The majority of the games are all unfinished. A lot of experimental stuff. Also, IndieCade East is much different from MagFest, and I think even much different from IndieCade West. It was not as much of a con feel as it was like a professional expo. There were definitely fans of indie games there that had nothing else to do other than to look at indie games, but it was very much like much more studious, if that makes sense. The whole feel
it's sort of like, oh, we're doing this, we're doing that. Do you wanna give us some money?
Well, yeah, I mean, not even that. It was just like there was the whole like the it took place at the Moving Image Museum in Astoria, New York, and all the games that were part of the exhibit. Like, I mean, there were exhibits, like there was PlayStation, Nintendo was there, Facebook even. There were different schools showing off student games, and then they had times where people would just show off their games in another area. But then there was, like, on the third floor, there was an actual exhibit with themes and everything like that. And those games didn't even have the devs there. They just kind of, like, let it go. It was very much museum-y feel, and, like, everyone just kind of, like, walks up to it, plays the game, takes however they want, like they would do at a museum. So it was really weird. So a lot of these games that were in the exhibit, I wanted to get more information on. I played some of them, but because I had no one to talk to, I didn't really feel right kind of giving my whole spiel about it when I didn't even really know much about it. With that said, the ones that really stuck out to me, first of all, we were talking about the theme, love and rejection. That was, like, probably the biggest theme out of the exhibits. There were three of them. There was love and rejection, what was it, Horizon, the Sunset Horizons, and there was a Leap Motion 3D Jam game. I guess Leap Motion, which is a technology where you can see your hands in front of you using the Oculus.
Yeah.
They partnered with IndieCade to have devs do a game jam for a few months, creating games using both those technologies. But for start off,
that one was announced at IndieCade West that they were going to do that.
Yeah, it was. Those games were really cool. But I'll start off with Love and Rejection. It was the biggest one. And you were asking, Rev, earlier about some of the games, like how does it fit into the theme? Because Love, obviously, there was a lot of games on sex and relationships and things like that for the love aspect of it. Rejection, also, you could think of, like, relationships, and that was part of it. But I think what their thought on rejection was with a lot of these games was that they were rejected as a game at some point.
Wolfenstein 3D was rejected as a game?
Yes, because it was, back in the day, it was so violent. For those, it was like 3D violent gore for that, obviously that was 92. So you got to think of, like, that was like state of the art, and people were like, "Oh my God, you're shooting people!" First person, yeah. So
what is this going to children?
But as far as the love stuff goes, there was some really weird stuff, especially when you're talking about the sex. Some of the games too, on all these exhibits, I actually remember you talking about, Rev, from IndieCade West.
Yeah.
And
like, how do you do it?
How do you do it was one. I have to admit, I mean, usually I'm pretty okay with, like, awkward things, but I felt weird. I don't know how right it is for me to feel this way, but I felt weird as a guy by himself sitting down and playing some of these games. How do you do it is one of them, because I felt like it's basically, how do you do it is a small child, a girl, playing with her, like, Barbies, her dolls,
I remember,
and
this
trying
game.
to figure out how sex works.
We were talking about this game.
And that was one that Rev was talking about before. And as an adult male, I felt that controlling a small girl, trying to figure out how sex works, as in my head, even though I'm not a pervert, well, not in that way, but at the same time, I was like, it's really weird, because that conception of someone's like, look at him, like, he's trying to, like, make that girl have sex with dolls, like, you know what I mean? I just didn't want to. It felt really weird playing it. There was another one too, actually, called Consentical. It was a cooperative 2-player game, and you're basically a hentai girl and a tentacle monster who explore their sexual relationship, their sexual curiosity. That was awkward.
I feel like I've played on Newgrounds.
Who did you play it with, Josh? That's the question.
I didn't play it. I'm just saying it stuck out to me. As a matter of fact, the only, like, sexual game that I played, quote played, was geometric porn, and
which is under the rejection.
It was under the rejection because it was rejected from it's a mobile game. It was rejected from the App Store for obvious reasons.
Really, I wonder why.
Yeah, and it's not even really anything. It was literally just swipe the finger and make what looks like a lollipop go into the vagina. And it's interesting games.
That's such a hot trapezoid.
Yeah. Diamonds.
Oscillate your oval for me.
I mean, like, and I can understand the whole, like, you know, how simple can we do this while still either being like either erotic or proving a point or being obvious, but it's like there's some times where you're just like, you know, why?
Sorry, I'm reading our chat. Got to confuse with Geometry Wars. That would be an interesting day for, like, here, kids.
Yeah.
And they're saying that I'm lying about not playing it. Well, you'll never know. Lovers. Oh, one of them that I did play. Lovers in a Dangerous Space-Time. It's not about sex. It was about relationships. But that was actually a really cool game. I actually had to project it on the wall. And it was a co-op game where it's basically, it's almost like a tower defense, but it's like FTL mixed with tower defense. It's hard to explain. Like, you're in the ship, and you had to, like, move from room to room to control different, like, weapons and shields and things like that, and try and protect your ship from other invading ships.
We reviewed that game.
Did we?
No,
Yeah.
we reviewed a game similar to.
Or was that?
I'm watching the trailer right now, but I'm pretty sure we didn't talk about
Maybe
this.
maybe I was thinking about Space DF9.
Maybe.
That fine canceled.
Either that was really cool. Gone Home was there. Everyone knows Gone Home if you know indie games, obviously. Some other games that I didn't even though I know it fell under the love theme, like UTE. I just didn't get it. I mean, that was one of those, like, that's like one of the, like, when you walk into an art museum, what's those splatter paintings? Who does those? And you look at it, you're like, why? You know, why is this here? Why does it deserve to be here? That was one of those games where I was like, really? But anyway, whatever. Oh, Save the Date was interesting. Save the Date was interesting, where you had to go on a date, and you had to literally save her from being assassinated while you're going to the dinner.
That escalated quickly.
Yeah.
Like, hey, honey, you want to go out for a movie and possibly an assassination attempt? I mean, come on. What's not romantic about it?
But she doesn't know it. She doesn't know it.
My Glock, you know.
Yeah. As far as the rejection games, like I said, they're not necessarily about romantic rejection. It's about being rejected as a game. I didn't get a chance to see them all.
That makes more sense for Noah's Ark and Super Columbine Massacre.
Yeah.
Super Columbine Massacre, obviously that's one that stuck out because it's like, what? Excuse me? Super Columbine Massacre RPG. If you don't know what Columbine is, was it 99? 99.
99, really?
Yeah, it was 99. Some couple of dudes went into high school in Columbine, Colorado, something or other, and shot up a bunch of people and killed themselves and all that stuff. And basically, you're playing as the shooters, and it's like RPG style. And obviously, when you at first glance, you're like, wow, that's really insensitive. But it's supposed to be a satire on school shootings and gun control and things like that.
I feel like that would actually almost make a compelling game if they switched the perspective and put you into a situation of a random student in the school and you have to try and survive, and you're given like the list of like
I feel like
other options.
I feel like that would be a little bit more insensitive, actually. Putting your place in the in part of the survivor
gameplay, because like shooting up innocent people like doesn't do it for me.
Well, but I mean, we talked about what was that the game a few weeks ago that was pulled off of Steam for like a little bit.
Oh yeah.
Mm-hmm. But I mean, it's the same concept. I think this is, and we were talking about like difference between just doing it for the hell of it and like artistic. Perspective. Yeah. I think this was an artistic. He's not doing it just to be like, haha, Columbine is funny. It's not.
No, it really was not.
Like that. Yeah. Some other interesting ones that I saw. You talked about Wolfenstein 3D. That was a long time ago, but they got rejected for a long time because of how violent it was for the day. 92. Snuggle Truck, which made me laugh. because it's originally titled Smuggle Truck, and instead of like in this game, you're smuggling stuffed animals, which is why it's called Snuggle Truck, across the border. What literally happened was it was called Smuggle Truck first, and you were smuggling Mexicans across the border, and they got rejected because of that because it was a mobile game. And all they did was change it to Snuggle Truck and replace the Mexicans with stuffed animals and things like that, and it got accepted. That itself just made me laugh.
Fools. I mean, like, yeah, I can see that.
Were the Mexicans stuffed? I don't know. Maybe they had a fiesta beforehand and had a lot of tacos. The Horizons exhibit, that had a lot more of like games that I would feel like, oh, like these are cool, interesting games. Choice Chamber was there. We've talked about Choice Chamber before.
Yep.
Hack and Slash, we featured that game before. Icebound was there, although every time I went up to it, it was frozen, and I felt bad because like no one was doing anything about it. I tried to, but like the iPad was like had like password protected. And I was like,
man.
I think another game that you talked about from IndieCade West that I thought was really cool using the Oculus was Keep Talking and Nobody Explodes.
Yes.
Excuse me. And that's where, using the Oculus, you can you have to use the Oculus and there's a bomb in front of you, and your job is to defuse it. But you don't know how to defuse it. So you have a person next to you who can't see your screen read from a book. And you have to communicate with each other, say, okay, this is what I see. So they look through the manual and like, okay, this is what you need to do, and you diffuse it that way. I think you have like something like 2.5-3 minutes to do it. But it was really cool.
Did you get a chance to play that one?
I could only watch it. That was like one of those games that everyone was like crowding around.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I wanted to though. I don't even want to mention this, but there was a game called Queen's Quest, which was literally a game about Gamergate. I mean, fuck it. Done with that.
Next game.
Wizard's Hand was cool. They invented an accessory to go on your hand, and you could play the game, like shoot wizard fireballs out of your hand at the screen. Pretty cool. Wizard's Hand, Don't Touch is what it's called.
What's funny about those is that did you play that one?
No, I didn't.
Okay. What people...
That was another one people were crowding around.
This is one of those things that that brings up another discussion, and I can't remember if I was talking to one of you, or I was talking to one of my friends at work, but people don't know the difference between the game they want to play and the game they want. And the idea of those sort of controls sounds really fun. It's like, yeah, fireball, or, freeze ray, or shot web, or whatever you're doing. And then, the novelty wears off, and 5 minutes in, you're like, my hand is tired.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know if it's only novelty or not. I mean, from what I saw of the game, there's not a whole lot to it, at least not yet. Maybe I don't know how much they're going to plan on, because again, they're not there. The devs weren't. I don't know how much they're going to plan on expanding on it. The one thing I noticed with it too is it wasn't very. It was very laggy. It wasn't, so it was kind of like but just the concept in itself was cool, which is why I brought it up. One game it
was part of the Leap Motion Jam, wasn't it?
No,
that one was for the Sunside.
Yeah, that doesn't use.
No. The game was made during the Leap Jam.
Oh,
that's right.
But it's not using the Leap. Oh yeah, it is. Oh no, yeah, it's mounted on the glove. Okay, I see what you're talking about. Yeah. Vietnam Romance was really interesting. I wanted to play more of that. I'd like to see more from that game. Excuse me as I cough my guts. And it was a really weird game. I don't really even know how to explain it, but it's very much story-driven.
Oh, no, I remember this one.
Looking at emails and things like that. Did you get a chance to play it?
No, one of the devs for it was part of a panel at IndieCade West and showed footage of it, and I have notes on that somewhere.
Yeah, it was really cool. I want to see more from that game because it really caught my interest. The last thing as far as like the exhibits go, was the Leap Motion 3D Jam games, and holy crap, people were getting invented. I was talking to, there was this guy, what's his name? I was thinking here, Isaac Cohen. He actually works part-time for Leap Motion, and he also develops things. And I was having a discussion with him about how indie games, and especially like this sort of area of indie games, is just like prime for people to invent and be creative, and just there's going to be one game that's just going to blow everyone's minds, and it's going to unlock like this huge, like can of worms of awesomeness of games being created. And it's true, there were some really cool games there. The guy I was talking about, by the way, Isaac Cohen, he actually wasn't even supposed to be there, but I guess whoever spot he took wasn't there, or was broken or something like that. He created this cool thing where, using the Leap Motion, you're inside. He called it Fleshbox.
Okay.
Which sounds awkward at first.
For the love and rejection.
Yeah, you'd think, but basically you go into, you put on the Oculus, and you're inside this box. It's like just a box, not really textured much, and then there's like a model of a face. And he created, it was more of an experiment, not really a game, but basically using the Leap Motion, he made it so that it's very delicate, and you can like just kind of like stroke things. It would, like mush it, and you can kind of like pull stuff out, and very like you can manipulate everything around you. Very cool. It was connected with different audio bits and things like that. It was, I don't know, it was really, it felt, it was sensitive enough that you could almost feel,
oh, wow.
You could almost feel it, you know what I mean?
How far will technology go?
A lot of people were comparing it to like a very satiny or velvety kind of feel. I thought the way it felt, and I did get an interview with this guy, so you'll see some of it. I thought the way it moved, like how things moved when you touched it. What is it? Cornstarch and water? Is that it? When you can?
Yeah, non-Newtonian fluids.
Yeah, as long as you're moving, you don't think through it. You know what I mean? I thought it was kind of like that. It was really cool. I played another thing where it was like basically you're messing with like a soundboard inside of it. Probably my favorite one though was called Aboard the Looking Glass, and that was an actual game. It was for the Game Jam, so it's not fully fleshed out, but I would love to see more from it. This guy's name is Henry Hoffman. It's a science fiction game about dimensional time, and you're on a rescue mission that's gone awry. And you're aboard like a space station or a ship or something like that, and there's this guy, a really good voice actor, talking to you through your headphones, telling you what to do. And in order to figure out what's happened, you have to look through your hands. Your left hand is blue. It'll turn everything blue, and it shows you the past.
Yeah.
You put your right hand up, it's red. It shows you the future, and everything else.
We were talking about. You mentioned this on the last episode when you were talking about the games. Yeah.
Yeah, it was so freaking cool, and you have to use that to like solve puzzles, and you can manipulate things in the present by doing that. It was just, I hope he does more with that game. But that was probably one of the most creative games that I see in all of IndieCade. Definitely in Leap Motion. So that was really cool. Other than that, I mean, obviously there's other games like that, board games I got the chance to check out, and there were definitely night games, which was a giant party.
Yeah.
Corporate Vandals I played, Henka, Twist Caper, Hot Mess, some of those we talked about.
Was the dev for Twist Caper there?
He was, yeah. I ripped like 3 people's badges off their necks. Someone smacked the controller out of my hand. If you don't know what Henka Twist Caper is, it's using PlayStation Move. Is that what it's called? I don't know. It's those controllers that look like Wiimotes.
Yeah, whatever it is.
Yeah.
The PlayStation View, whatever. Who cares?
But basically, you have to try and, like, your team has to, whenever they shout out the color, you have to, like, hold it in a certain position while everyone else is, like, trying to, like physically harm you while you're doing it so you can't win. It's a violent game. Hot Mess.
He was, but did you use my tip from the IndieCade West episode? He's very, very ticklish.
No, I didn't play with him. I didn't play with
okay.
him, no. But he was there just kind of like supervising. Stranger Danger was interesting. Under the Hood was really cool. Things like that. But that's not really what we're talking about. It was all fun and games. Aha!
Yeah.
And I feel like is there something?
How scary was Corporate Vandals? Our audience wanted to know.
Corporate Vandals.
You said you played that. How was
Do you guys
what was your experience?
How scary was it? So I guess you have some sort of experience with it then. It's it's interesting. It's an interesting perspective on society. The game. Our game ended up. There was one dude. It gets out of control because the guy's like, "Here's some rules. You should follow them, but you're probably not. Have at it." And basically, you're putting stickers. Oh, he helped design it.
Oh, cool.
Oh,
Okay.
yeah, I didn't know that. That's awesome. Yeah, it's you're putting stickers on like a grid map type of thing, and you're trying to like basically it's like graffiti or billboards or something like that, depending on your faction. It's hard to explain really. But it's how scary was it, man? We started let's put it this way: the middle of the map was ripped off completely at the end of the game. One dude was like tearing up his stickers and like just flat out cheating. I like grabbed his stuff and threw it across the room and put my stickers up. It was a little ridiculous. We did not win. I think we came in second place. I think it was I forget what the faction's called, but basically the people that were ripping off all the stuff. They won for some reason. It's an interesting game though. It's a perspective on society about corporate vandalism, like billboards, advertising. Also on how you kind of devolve a little bit when it comes to claiming your territory.
Have, happened.
Yeah, I mean, he brought up an example of like a lot of energy drinks, Monster, Rockstar. They literally vandalize with their stickers,
Right.
And they put their stickers on like curbs because I guess everyone's eyes are drawn to the curbs so they don't fall on their face. So they put them on curbs and in cities and things like that, or on signs. Those sticker slap things all over the place. So I don't know. It was really cool.
Yeah.
Nice job. I still don't really even know what happened during that game. Hurricane. I'm not sure how to pronounce it, but still, it was fun. I had a lot of fun doing it.
Yeah.
I don't know. How long have we been doing?
Talking about indie games, I honestly lost track. We've also got, I don't know if you saw any of the e-sports sort of stuff, but Clusterpuck was apparently there. Yeah,
Clusterpuck was there, and so was Extreme Exorcism. I actually finally got to talk to them and get because we meant to do it at MagFest and they left. I got a chance to talk to them, and that was a fun game. I didn't do a whole lot of they had esports like in this big room for everyone to play. I didn't really go visit that much. I caught Extreme Exorcism during their show and tell session, so that's how I got an interview with them, which is nice. I did meet a lot of people that were at MagFest at IndieCade. One of the games that we're featuring today was actually at MagFest, and which is Earth Night, and but it was cool. It was cool seeing and how even over 2 weeks how much they progressed, and everything like that.
So Did you hit any of the panels or the conference segments or anything like that?
I was able to hit one and meet the press. I got to talk to more in depth. I got to talk to what was his name? Capizzoli. I forget his first name. Capizzoli. He's a writer from GameSpot.
Okay.
Which was pretty cool. There was another girl there from some blog that she has. A guy from Mashable. A girl from Tech. It wasn't TechCrunch. It was Tech something.
Tech. No.
Yeah, and then some other guy from the New York Times who also writes for like video game articles for Playboy and Penthouse and stuff like that. It was pretty cool to hear that side of things. They were basically telling devs, excuse me, how to get their games noticed by the press to get coverage and all that stuff.
Is you go to IndieGameRiot.com.
Yeah.
And you go to the contact page, and you send an email to devs at Indie Game Riot.
What I should have done is I should have like painted Indie Game Riot on my chest and just streaked across the panel.
Yeah, no.
Indie Game Riot.
Good PR, bad PR.
There's no such thing as bad PR.
If for some reason we blow up and go viral for some reason, and someone watching this from the far future, we don't endorse you doing that, but we're not you.
Please do. Oh man. All right. Any other questions about IndieCade East before we move on to the games that we're featuring?
No, you pretty much answered everything. It's really interesting to see the progress of some of the stuff that I saw at IndieCade West, and good to hear that they're still alive and kicking. So
absolutely. Well, you know what else is alive and kicking?
What's that?
Started the Riot. Actually, Peep Show, because nothing was actually finished
yet.
So, Peep Show.
Please give all your attention to Early Access.
And this week on IndieCade East, Peep Show number 1, I guess it would be, because no one had any finished games other than like Game Jam games, I guess you could say, for starting the Riot. So we're just doing 2 Peep Shows. This one is going to be releasing on PlayStation Network. First, and then plans to release on other platforms after that. It is called Chasm, and basically, it's a game that took inspiration from a lot of like hack and slash dungeon crawlers and Metroidvania style type of things, procedurally generated.
You know what this game reminds me of?
What's that?
This game, like, not the procedurally generated part, but this game reminds me of La Mulana. If you've ever heard of that game. La Mulana. Oh, never mind. I mean, like, it looks... Yeah, never mind.
Well, anyway.
Out there, game La Mulana, this might be for you.
It's pretty challenging. I played it while I was there. They have, I think, 4 levels that were available, 4 very large worlds, I should say, not levels, that were available when I was playing. They were playing on 6, I think. And basically, you're like the rookie guard in town, if that makes sense. Oops, sorry, page change. And there's been like, I'm gonna have to refresh myself. Sorry, you're gonna see my page real quick. Here we go. Where's the story? You have to go check out like why this mining community has just kind of like ceased to exist for a while. Your name is Dalton, and as the new guard, you're sent to go check it out because it's not really expected to have much going on. But you discover that there's something weird going on. They kind of sealed the town off from the outside. You're trapped in there with them, so you have to explore and uncover what's really going on with the town. I think this is a game that especially Rev might enjoy. You're into these challenging, it's kind of a little bit of a roguelike, because they're expected to die.
Yeah. No, this game looks fairly interesting. Watching the trailer that I saw, I'm having a hard time with the coloration of everything.
Yeah,
but
I can see that.
I think if they took that into account and allowed us to add some filters or something like that, I could probably get through it. But as it stands, just from the video stuff that's on the screen in the trailer, it's not going to be an easy game for me.
Yeah, I didn't even think about that. It is all the colors kind of blend into each other if you can't see that.
Very complementary color palette.
Yeah.
Purples, blues.
So yeah, not very colorblind friendly, but the game is, like I said, it's challenging even without that, because first of all, you start off with this tiny like little dagger looking sword thing. It's hard to put the reach on it. It's hard to get close enough to enemies. They kind of hit you right off the bat.
Yeah.
But you can get upgrades. You pick up equipment. You get like long swords and things like that. It gives you better reach. You can get different potions and magic abilities to throw around. The platforming I thought was really challenging. I'm not very good at platforming, so that's what killed me the most. I was like trying to like platform above a pit of spikes basically, and I kept falling, and it was pissing me off. And then the boss fight, even I only got to see one boss fight, but that was pretty intense. I wouldn't say I've seen harder boss fights, and I mean maybe it's just because this was actually no the level I was playing was actually kind of farther into the game. I wouldn't say the boss fights were that hard in itself. It was standard pattern oriented. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Just figure out the pattern, figure out the weakness, then you're good. But what makes it challenging again is if you don't have the equipment to do it, then it can be a lot harder on you if you don't have the reach or if you don't have strong enough magic or anything like that. But I guess that's where the roguelike comes in into it. By the way, Dan Adelman sent this to me. If you guys don't remember, Dan Adelman, the indie, I don't know what you would really call the title, like indie rep from Nintendo.
Sure.
Was the one that sent this to me, since he's gone indie by himself now, I guess as a PR person. Go check it out. Go check the games that he has a good eye for indie games, and this is one of them. And that reminds me, I keep remembering other things I wanted to mention during the IndieCade recap, like during the news injection. Talking about eye for indie games, but anyway, back to Chasm. Do you guys have any questions about this? Like, as you're looking at the gameplay and all that stuff?
It feels like it. Like I know it's like it has roguelike elements, but it feels like it's definitely more. It's deeper than that. It has roguelike elements, but it's also very RPG feel with like the levels and all the items and the menus that you have to traverse.
I think the roguelike is probably the least used out of all the mechanics of it.
Yeah, well, I kind of like that though, because we've seen a lot of roguelikes, and the procedurally generated stuff has been done and and not to say that there isn't innovation and fun games coming out of those mechanics, but throwing what they have into the mix, I think a good addition to the currently relatively stale state of like roguelike dungeon crawly games currently.
Yeah. Okay. It's nice to see it too coming out on PlayStation. A game like this. PlayStation seems to have a lot of like the smaller like Rogue Legacy kind of games, so this seems like it has a little bit more depth, like you said, coming out on the PSN. But it is supposed to come out on for PC on Steam and everything like that, and different platforms. So if you don't have PlayStation or PlayStation Plus or whatever, I'm sure you'll eventually get a chance to play this. And that character in the gameplay looks like something out of Donkey Kong.
Yeah, I can definitely see that. Currently in development. Where can people learn about it?
You go to I don't want to switch windows because it's going to show the
Chasmgame.com.
Yeah, Chasmgame.com. And do they have pre-orders on that yet? There was something that had pre-orders. I don't know if it was this game.
No, but they are they've been funded, and they are also looking for.
Well, they're funded because they were signed by Sony, so.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
And you can play the demo currently, at least I think, if these downloads still work. No, you cannot play the demo anymore. They took all the demos down, but yeah.
It looks good.
Chasm. Go check it out, and I gotta say this. Another thing I was talking about Sport Ball Manager in between segments. I gotta say another one. Talking about for Indie Games. So this doesn't have anything to do with Chasm, but I'm gonna keep the gameplay up anyway. A really cool service for any of you who are indie devs out there called Junklatch. They call themselves, and I put an article out earlier today about this.
Yeah, I saw that.
But they call themselves an indie support company, so they do all kinds of support. But what really intrigued me is that they actually, for like a very small fee, because they understand that you don't have money and they just want to help you out, they will take your game to events like IndieCade if you can't go yourself and display it for you.
Oh,
So
that's pretty big. That's a big deal.
The website is Junklatch with the dot being between the T and the C. So it's junklat.ch is the website. So go check that out. Anyway, go ahead, do it.
It's like, you know what you need after a premature peep show?
Another peep show?
Another peep show. Peep show!
Please give all your attention to Early Access.
This week on Peep Show number 2, we have a game called Earth Knight. Now, they were at IndieCade East, and they were also at MagFest. There was an interview with one of the developers currently on IndieGameRiot.com. You can go check that out for more information. But right now, we are talking about it for your ears on the podcast. Now, what is Earth Knight? Earth Knight is it's a runner. Yeah, it is a runner game with completely hand-drawn everything.
Oh god, the art is beautiful, man.
The art is amazing. The colors are spectacular. Rev, I don't know if you saw the interview or any of the footage that we have of the game. I don't know if you can see any of it, but it is very vivid. The story around it is really cool. You basically take control of a 14-year-old girl and an unemployed photographer who are trying to get the world back from these monsters that have taken over the world and forced humanity into space. And you do that
from dragons.
Dragons, yeah. You know, monsters, dragons, you know. So, but with dragons come anyway. But you do this by running on the dragons and then stabbing them to death and then falling farther down to the world. And it is a seamless, almost completely seamless game where, yes, the transitions are very smooth. You'll go from, excuse me, running on a thing to all of a sudden there'll be a boss fight to all of a sudden there'll be a dodging thing and all the way into another level. And it's pretty hard. I think, Josh, you were having one heck of a time.
It's pretty difficult. I mean, it's a runner game with roguelike elements to it, because and the fact that you die a lot and then you have to start over and get better and learn as you go. One thing that's hard. You mentioned like stabbing the dragons to death, and you probably saw in the video that I was playing that you see them like going at like in the dragon's eye or whatever. God, I hope that's not someone doesn't turn that into something. But you're doing that, and one thing that he was mentioning about maybe changing, because I was talking to him, and him and another guy who is a partner in the IndieBox company I met, which is pretty cool. But apparently he was the one that set up the show and tell section of the game of IndieCade, and I guess they did it at IndieCade West or maybe last year or something like that. And they're the one they showed Earth Knight at that show and tell, and that guy pointed PlayStation in their direction, and basically PlayStation signed him and basically changed that developer's life for Earth Knight. But anyway, side story, pretty cool though. He said that stabbing the dragon, he's trying to think of maybe he didn't want to like hold someone's hand as far as like how to do it, but there's not a whole lot of feedback that you're doing it right, because there's like a certain like you kind of have to like if you remember, you saw in the interview where the guy was like doing this as I was playing.
Yeah.
There's like a timing to it, but you don't really know, especially if you haven't played before, you don't really know how to do it.
Yeah.
So he's thinking maybe like when you pull back, when it's ready to stab, like if you're playing the girl, the little spirit thing she's using to stab the dragon will like start to glow brighter, and if it gets like super bright, then you know to stab. The photographer has a sword, same deal. Maybe it'll like flame, like a flame will start, growing on it, and then you know how to stab. But other than that, I think even though it's difficult, it's a game that you learn to play and get better the more you do it. You start to learn like which enemies you can hit, which enemies you can't hit. You start to get into a kind of a rhythm as you're running and everything like that. Did you get a chance to play it, Tech, or is it just me? I forget.
I think I played it a little bit.
It was really cool.
It was surprisingly responsive. Like as runner games go, like they sort of float and you're on the journey, you're going. But it felt good. Like and when we were playing on the USB NES controllers. So I mean that may have affected something, but like these guys know what they're doing.
Yeah.
So I'm kind of getting a vibe that this is what's that game? The Colossus, Shadow of the Colossus. Like
as far as like the timing of like the fighting.
Well,
dragons?
just it's like I'm seeing this as kind of a reimagining of.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, kind of see.
You kind of see where I'm coming from, and I'm getting a little bit of Nidhogg, but that's just because it's fast-paced runner.
I mean the running part reminded me more of like Bit Trip Runner, except instead of like dodging obstacles, you're dodging enemies, and you're actually trying to get through that way.
Yeah,
but
you can attack by jumping on them as well. So
not all of them, no.
Not all,
but you jump on them and you kind of bounce up higher and all that sort of stuff.
Yeah.
Part of the story too, just to give a little bit more information on it, is basically. Like you said, the dragons have taken over, and you're like some survivors, and you're trying to get the Earth back from the dragons. There's a lot of like, if you just jump into the game without knowing any of this, you're like, why are there toys bouncing around on the dragons? Actually, I don't know how they ended up on the dragons, but
that's one of those questions too.
Yeah, you're collecting toys so you can trade it for water, because water at this point in time is very valuable. So that's why you're collecting the toys in the first place. You collect toys to avoid dragons. Sometimes it is hard to differentiate between toys and monsters, because it's all kind of like going like this the whole time.
Yeah.
But again, I think that's something that you just kind of learn to like keep an eye out for it the more you play it.
Yeah, and I think that anybody who may be susceptible to motion sickness, like when we first looked at it, it was very sort of jarring, because the whole thing is, like you said, it's going like this, and it's up and down, and it's it's even, it's predictable, but it's like, it's jarring. And then as soon as you get behind it and you like look at it, you're like, oh no, this makes sense. This is a lot more straightforward than I thought. How am I going to tackle what is actually in front of me?
Right. And the two characters are also pretty different, because I mean they always say the old guy, the photographer, is easier to play. He's very straightforward. You just jump, you can slow down, and stab with your sword when you get on a dragon. But the girl has an extra mechanic to her where she can kind of rocket herself forward using her magic.
Yeah,
that's cool.
It's a little bit more of an for advanced players. I did see somebody get pretty far. They went through like 4 different dragons, because when you get to the skydiving part, remember, I think I was trying to avoid dragons because I thought they were bad. But apparently the different colored dragons, each dragon is like different difficulties. Like blue is the easiest, black is the hardest. And you like are basically aiming to land on a dragon, and then you do the running bit again, so you can try and kill that dragon. That's the whole point of the skydiving part of it. Do you have any other questions about Earth Knight?
who's it by and when does it come out?
Earth Knight is
Cleaversoft
is the developer.
Sorry.
Yeah.
And it is coming out.
It comes out. How she says this on her website. Earth Knight will be released when it's done.
Yeah.
Yep. So thank you for that, Cleaversoft. I appreciate. Take your time. Make sure it's perfect, because it looks like a fantastic game, and I would be so upset if I buy it and it's horrible.
Yeah. The art is awesome, though.
Yeah, seriously.
No, it looks fantastic, and I love the concept of it.
Absolutely.
Yeah, it is very fun.
You know what else is fun and has a cool concept?
What's that?
Eat me!
Eat yourself. Wait a minute. That's actually the name of the game. Going mobile. And this week, Going Mobile, IndieCade East 2015 edition, we have a game, probably one of the weirdest games and one of the most creative mobile games that I've seen in a long time. It's kind of a shmup hell kind of game. It is called Eat Yourself. Here's some art that's going to be backwards on screen, but it's still pretty cool. Eat Yourself. There's no gameplay footage of it. It's currently only for mobile. I think it's only iOS right now that you can download it for. He is planning on coming out with Android. It is going to be free. Although we were discussing, actually, before we did the interview about, like, how to fund the game, because, he wants to make money without being a douche, but he wants to make money, so it's kind of hard. It's before, I mean, everyone hates microtransactions, but before being overly judgmental, just remind yourself, like, what would you do in a situation where you want money for the project that you're creating? But anyway.
I would honestly, I really like the way that Bitcoin Billionaire did it.
Yep.
They have a limited number of microtransactions that you can purchase.
I was actually surprised. Like, I have to dig to be like, wait, where's the thing that lets me like?
Can I do that?
Like, and then I go into the thing. I'm like, oh, it's in the store. But
like, if you do,
you don't even have to pay money for some stuff. And you're like, okay.
Yeah, no, I think if you did a limited number of microtransactions, limited number of booster capabilities, even if you get the whale, as it is in the terminology for freemium and free to play games, sure, I probably spent $45, I think, on Bitcoin Billionaire, but I bought absolutely everything.
So, Eat Yourself is really interesting. First of all, I interviewed the guy. The guy has a sense of humor. It's kind of a messed up sense of humor, but I particularly enjoyed it. Yeah, I particularly enjoyed it. And you were mentioning he doesn't have much stuff. If you remember, we talked about a little bit very shortly. We were doing Galaxy 65 for MagFest. It's kind of the same issue where he's like, not issue, but the same deal where he's like, it's almost like oh, you want a website? Fuck you, kind of a thing. This guy does have a website, but it's very satirical, if that makes sense.
Oh, satirical? Okay.
Basically, you can check it out, eatyourself.org. Let me just read some stuff from this website and tell you what this game is about. What is Eat Yourself? Trademark. Eat Yourself, trademark, is more than a video game. It's your key to inner peace, happiness, and freedom. So, by the way, you're a pig who shoots peace signs out of his eyes, like in a shmup's fashion, flying around. And you need to eat food and eat yourself and destroy the enemies. The nice thing about the game, though, I was talking to him too, I appreciate it because I'm terrible at shmups. I've mentioned this several times before. But the hitbox is just the pig's tongue. So that's all you got to dodge. But it doesn't make the game easy. The game's still challenging. But it's open. He was trying to... the guy, one of his main goals, he wants to make it as open to everyone as possible. He's going to try and make it on as much as he can. He's just starting off with iOS. So he's not only in the platforms he's releasing it on, he's making it free to play, or free to download, I should say, and he's also making it open in game design, whereas I can actually play it without being a master shmup player. But anyway, why eat yourself, he poses. Self-cannibalism leads to peace, happiness, and freedom.
Self-cannibalism makes you smile because it tastes great, makes you lose weight, saves you money on groceries, and gives you an invigorating rush.
Join for peace.
To eat yourself is the most peaceful way to eat. In fact, eating anything other than yourself is cold-blooded murder. But don't worry, we forgive you. You probably didn't know food feels pain, just like you and me. And then he has like a little area to put an email to join the mailing list. Join for peace and end the food genocide. Eating food makes you sad because it's murder, but eating yourself makes you happy because it's murder-free.
Did you read the disclaimer at the bottom of his website? The makers of the Eat Yourself trademark brand, including the Eat Yourself trademark websites, products, and services, do not endorse violence of any kind. Specifically, Eat Yourself trademark does not endorse any form of self-harm, including but not limited to chewing, gnawing, biting, mutilating, dismembering, consuming one's own body, or otherwise engaging in eating disorder behavior. If you or a loved one is considering eating yourself or harming yourself in any way, please seek out professional medical attention immediately.
Because like all of this just now suddenly came into perspective, and I'm just like, these guys actually care.
And it's funny as hell.
Yeah.
It's it's I don't know, the guy's sense of humor cracks me up. And we were talking about microtransactions. He's actually during the game you're also collecting coins. In the current build there's no use for the coins, but he's planning on kind of like an in-game currency. Not that you have to pay for real money for it, at least, or anything like that. It's just that you can use the coins that you collect for upgrades and things like that during the game.
Okay.
By the way, he has like everything trademarked. I think it's funny. But when you eat yourself completely, I'm skipping ahead here from the Eat Yourself Bible, I guess. When you eat yourself completely, you become whole. A state of sublime freedom that can be yours today for only 99 Eat Ink coins. Inquire with Boris. So that's Eat Yourself in a nutshell. Outside of maybe Star Mazer, this is a shmup that I would definitely want to play more of.
Oh man,
I've never played a game like this. It's a little bit disturbing too. I mean, for obvious reasons, but the entire time, the pig is literally smiling. He eats himself. He's like, "Yes, this is the best."
Yeah, but what about the people who? Well, okay. So you know how they're like, "Oh yeah, eating yourself is food murder." But what are the people who don't like eating pig or are against eating pig? That pig is eating pig, and that's against their religion. Checkmate.
Religion?
What?
This Eat Yourself is a religion. So if you're playing Eat Yourself, you are indoctrinated.
You might have to convert
Immediately.
So
This game just seems so off the wall. I have to play it now.
what I love is that you go to the website, and it's funny that like there's only so much we can really say about this game, but like it's so great. You go to the website and you can buy you can download paper craft things that you can then fold and glue into different characters. So you can get Pinky the pig and Eve the apple and
Boris the
Boris, yeah.
Boris Roberus.
He's gonna have a bib as well. Pinky the pig bib.
I want one.
And not only are you eating food and yourself, but there's like Ipecac bottles floating around.
Holy
It's like a power attack. So you get it and then you just vomit at all the enemies. This is the kind of game, I don't know, I really enjoyed it.
Oh my God.
It was the second show and tell round that I went to, he was like right in front, and I was like, the first thing that caught my eye was the art. The art is really cool. I'll show it again. That doesn't really do a whole lot of justice just because it's like a single close up of the face.
Yeah.
But everything in there is really sharp. The gameplay is super smooth. You're just sliding around with your finger. You don't even have to tap. It automatically shoots whenever there's something to shoot.
Oh, cool. Right.
So it's just literally just dodging and eating the things that you want to eat. So it's really cool. What is happening with you, Rev?
Sorry,
This isn't Peep Show anymore.
my camera's starting to tip further back and fall off my laptop, so I had just...
You know what else has started to tip further and fall off Rev's laptop?
Aww.
The end of the show?
Yeah.
Yeah, the end of the show.
Yeah.
This week we won't have any music, unfortunately, but that's okay. We'll just use our default. But if you have music, or if you're a game dev that you want to show off a game or something like that, and you want to be featured on the show, contact us. We'll tell you how to contact us. But first, if you're watching this live, we do have recorded versions. JaShinYa, or it's youtube.com. No, god damn it. IndieGameRiot.com. It's on YouTube. That's what I'm trying to say. But it's all embedded on IndieGameRiot.com. You can check the episodes there. Or if you're watching a recorded version, check us out every Friday, 9:30 Eastern Time, 9:30 p.m. Eastern Time, on hitbox.tv/JaShinYa. But back to contacting us. You can contact us on Twitter at IGR Podcast, or on Facebook.com/IGR Podcast, or email us on IndieGameRiot.com by emailing to contact@IndieGameRiot.com. Couple other things.
IndieGameRiot.com.
IndieGameRiot.com. A couple other things. Again, announcing the Put Our Money Where Our Mouths Are challenge. First of every month, we're going to be picking a game out that we featured, having Indie Gamer Chick. If you haven't heard of her, go check her out. She's on Twitter. Also, just check her website, IndieGamerChick.com, where she's going to buy the game and review it, if she hasn't already, and then we'll match the funds and donate to the Epilepsy Foundation. It's a really cool way to put good out in the community for everyone involved. Also, we have a Patreon. If you like what we do, please consider supporting us on Patreon so we can do even more cool stuff. We have a lot of goals and ideas that we want to continue with, and that will really help us out striving towards those goals. Anything else? Did I miss anything?
No, I think we nailed it all.
All right.
IndieCade East!
Yeah,
Hey.
IndieCade East finally wrapped up. We won't have any more IndieCade episodes until next year.
Keep an eye out for the interviews, though, on our website.
Yeah, definitely.
Any last words?
Other than I want more conventions to happen so that Josh and I can hang out.
And Rev to get off the no-fly list so he can come hang out as well.
I'm working on it. We're going to test that. We're going to test that this spring. We're going to take a small flight and see if they'll let me on the plane.
Oh, awesome.
Cool.
Sweet. So you gotta let us know what happens, actually.
Oh, definite. I'll show up at your house and be like, I got to fly out here.
I'm like, I have nowhere for you to sleep, but okay.
Come to my place.
Have fun with the floor.
I've got a double bed. There's enough room for both of us.
I'm scrawny, but I'm warning you now. I always play Big Spoon.
That's okay.
Well, this just got weird. Say goodbye, gentlemen.
Take it easy, guys.
Have a good one, folks.
Toodles.